It was recently brought to my attention that twin Cessna 340 Whiskey Golf had some real problems with his missed approaches here at Fresno Air Terminal on the 2nd of December. My name's Juan Brown. You're watching the BLANCOLIRIO channel. Let's check it out. Fortunately, eventually, the aircraft landed safely after his third approach. This video, like the others, is brought to you by viewers like you that sponsor this channel here on Patreon. Thank you for your support. The weather here in the Sacramento-San Joaquin Valley has been terrible with fog. We're back to a older style of weather pattern here. We got high pressure overhead. We had a lot of rain in November, getting a lot of moisture in the ground, and a return to what we call the Thule fog in the Sacramento and San Joaquin Valley, reducing visibility down to as low as 1/2 statute a mile. And the tops of this fog is about 2,000 feet. Along with the ADS-B data, we'll review the ATC data, and here's a snippet of the weather. KFAT on the 2nd, 3/4 statute miles, runway 29 right, RVR, 2,400 feet, variable 5,000 feet. So between a half mile to a mile of visibility in mist, overcast at 500 feet. Again, with the tops at about 2,000 feet. Here's the approach in question, the ILS Yankee runway 29 right with a minimums of 1/2 mile visibility for all categories of aircraft. So technically the weather was at or above minimums. Throughout this presentation you might hear reference to the runway visual range, touchdown, midpoint, and rollout. That involves transmissiometers that are located at 3 different points along the runway, which will give you the visibility in feet at the various locations along the runway, as opposed to using prevailing visibility, the overall visibility for the runway. RVR comes more into play for these Category 2, Category 3 instrument approaches, which the 340 is not set up to do. The aircraft in question is a Cessna 340, the first step into a pressurized twin-engine recip aircraft offered by Cessna, powered by the TSIO 520 engines, Continental. A complicated, high workload, especially single-pilot IFR aircraft. The flight originated from Santa Barbara. The aircraft is used for business, for a real estate business in the Santa Barbara area. And the whole point here is we're not throwing the pilot under the bus in this situation. We're using this as a learning lesson regarding missed approaches and the importance of maintaining aircraft control during the approach and missed approach phase of the operation, the most critical phase of flight. Now, I had a chance to talk with the pilot, and he admitted there's basically nothing wrong with the aircraft that caused these anomalies in the missed approach pattern, but that he does not like to use the autopilot for the final approach and missed approach portion of the flight. The aircraft has an older autopilot, and he simply doesn't trust it to manage that portion of the flight. So he is hand flying the aircraft during the final approach portion and the missed approach portion. So the flight up from Santa Barbara is uneventful with the autopilot on until we get to the final approach section here. And here's the first approach. And we'll review the ATC audio. So there's a little bit of zigzagging on final approach, but I believe he comes in a little bit too high to safely land out of that approach, the first approach, and he elects to go around. In that first missed approach, we see a pretty good swerve to the left. Back up onto the radar pattern and around for another approach with the autopilot on. Autopilot gets disconnected, and right away we have a big swerve left of course. We're in no safe position to land the aircraft. Looks like he gets down to about 700 feet ADS-B altitude, and then a big turn to the right and a big dangerous turn to the left. Nearly, in my opinion, it looks like to me, he nearly lost control of the aircraft, down to 98 miles an hour ground speed in a Cessna 340 at 1,300 feet in a sharp left turn. I asked the pilot if this ADS-B data was in error, and he didn't know about that, if it was in error or not. And then gets sorted out and heads off for yet another approach. And we'll listen to the ATC data here in a minute. Gets a little bit off course on his missed approach and radar vectors, and then comes back in for one third final attempt with plenty of fuel to do this instead of diverting, and gets it in okay on the third and final approach. But then, as we'll hear on the ATC audio, has a little problem taxiing in. And the published missed approach for this approach starts out with a climb to 800 feet, then a right turn to 5,500 feet on a heading of 330 degrees, and then to the Nivy intersection and hold, or as directed by the tower. Now let's roll the ATC audio from live ATC and see how this plays out.
Fresno Tower, Twin Cessna 340 Whiskey Golf, inbound for 29 right.
November 240 Whiskey Golf, Fresno Tower, runway 29 right, cleared to land.
Cleared to land, 29 right, 0 Whiskey Golf.
And November 340 Whiskey Golf, runway 29 right, RVR is 5,000.
Whiskey Golf, right.
RVR 5,000 feet, so visibility 1 mile, well above minimums. Whiskey Golf receives the following PIREP, pilot report, PIREP.
And November 0 Whiskey Golf, did you copy that PIREP? The previous arrival, the current arrival reported 500 feet base.
Whiskey Golf, got it, thank you.
Correction, Whiskey Golf, so the previous traffic broke out at just 500 feet above the ground. ATC points out the first sign of trouble here.
Number 0 Whiskey Golf, confirm you're established on the localizer. I see you on the radar display kind of swerving left and right.
0 Whiskey Golf, yeah, we're established.
Copy.
Yeah, we're established. ATC is watching him close now. Whiskey Golf breaks out of the weather but realizes he's too high to do a safe approach and landing, so elects to go around.
0 Whiskey Golf, we missed approach.
0 Whiskey Golf, go around, climb maintain 3000.
Around, climbing main 3000.
0 Whiskey Golf, you can fly heading of a 290.
290, 0 Whiskey Golf.
November 0 Whiskey Golf, I just want to let you know you're currently tracking at 230. So if you could turn right heading to 290.
Tracking 230, turn right to 290.
Number 0 Whiskey Golf, you continue in the 290 heading up to 3000 and contact approach on 119.6.
9.6, 0 Whiskey Golf.
I like how the ATC controller is being very careful and slow with his enunciation of the radio frequencies. He knows he's got a pilot that's struggling a little bit with the weather. So Whiskey Golf makes it around the radar pattern with approach, and we'll pick it up again on final approach for the second approach.
Fresno Tower, Twin Cessna 340 Whiskey Golf, inbound for the ILS 29 right.
For 340 Whiskey Golf, Fresno Tower, runway 29 right, cleared to land. Runway 29 right, RVR. The touchdown is 3,500.
0 Whiskey Golf, roger.
RVR down to 3,500, so considerably less than the previous approach, but still above minimums.
Whiskey Golf, can I get the tops and bases when able?
0 Whiskey Golf, the tops are about 1,900. I'll let you know the bases when we get there.
Roger.
Top's about 1,900, so poof, he's back into the goo.
0 Whiskey Golf, you're drifting left, of course, sir. 0 Whiskey Golf, execute missed approach, unstable approach. You're drifting far left, of course. Climb and maintain 3000, fly heading 290.
290 up to 3,000, 0.
Are you not picking up the localizer?
0 Whiskey Golf, we're having a little problem there, but it's better now.
0 Whiskey Golf, roger.
Okay.
0 Whiskey Golf, stay in tensions. What do you want to do now?
0 Whiskey Golf, I want to try it one more time, please.
Entrance test 0 Whiskey Golf, roger, fly runway heading, climb and maintain 3000, vectors for resequence.
Okay, up to 3,000, vectors for sequence, 0 Whiskey Golf.
And then we get this crazy missed approach, and that's where the ATC controller is exasperated, saying, what are your intentions? What are you doing? You're well left, of course. The ATC, the tower controller, sent him around.
Course 132.35.
132.35, 0 Whiskey Golf.
And then asks him, what are your intentions? after nearly losing control of the aircraft right overhead of the airport, the controller's exasperated, worried about this guy trying to get in this weather. He'd rather see him divert to somewhere else, get him out of here so he's not his problem. Then there's additional problems after the handoff to approach. Whiskey Golf never makes the frequency change to approach and is still struggling with his directional control. Remember, his tower-directed missed approach instructions were to climb basically straight out, runway heading 290 degrees to 3,000 feet.
Zero Whiskey Golf approach. Whiskey Golf Tower.
Whiskey Golf, we're trying to tune in approach.
You're supposed to be flying 290 and climbing to 3,000. Zero Whiskey Golf. Yeah, let's just get you above the clouds right now. Where do you want to go to divert? Cessna Zero Whiskey Golf Tower.
Zero Whiskey Golf, we're tuning in approach right now.
Zero Whiskey Golf, Castle Airport is 8 miles, light rain, ceiling 10,000 overcast.
How far away is Castle Airport? Castle Airport.
Merced. About a 298 heading for 53 miles. Zero Whiskey Golf, you're heading north. I need you to fly heading 290, please.
Okay, we're going to 290. We're climbing to 3,000. Zero Whiskey Golf.
Madera's weather is showing ceiling 800 overcast, visibility 5 miles.
So the tower controller is trying to get him to divert.
What's
consider
the current
diverting.
ceiling at Fresno, please?
Fresno's 500 overcast, sir.
If possible, I'd like to do one more approach, please.
You've missed 2 approaches already. How much fuel do you have?
We've got plenty of fuel for...
240 Whiskey Golf, roger. Contact approach 132.35 for resequence.
Whiskey Golf, roger.
Okay, you're the pilot in control. If you want to try it again, third time's a charm. And to try and get back in here, the controller... Who's flying this airplane? The air traffic controller is trying to get him to consider diverting to somewhere with better weather. So Whiskey Golf makes it around the radar pattern for a third time for a third approach onto runway 29. The exasperated Fresno tower controllers have cleared the pattern of all the traffic to make room for Whiskey Golf for his third approach.
With you again. Inbound for 290 right.
340 Whiskey Golf Fresno Tower. Runway 200 right, RVR touchdown 3,500, midpoint 2,600. Roll out 5,500, runway 200 right, go to land.
Whiskey Golf, roger.
Right down.
Whiskey Golf, runway 200 right, go to land.
Clear to land, Zero Whiskey Golf.
Zero Whiskey Golf, the runway assigned, runway 200 right, go to land.
Clear to land, 290 right, Zero Whiskey Golf.
Tower 3390, we're rolling.
Roger.
Got to get the runway assignment, 29 right. And the RVR at the mid transmissometer, remember there's 3 transmissometers, is down to 2,400 feet, or right down to mins at the middle of the runway. Okay, Zero Whiskey Golf makes it in on the third attempt, but it's not all over yet.
Zero Whiskey Golf Tower. Cessna Zero Whiskey Golf Tower.
Whiskey Golf,
I got you the same. Can you exit at Bravo 6?
6, we'll do that, Zero Whiskey Golf.
Whiskey Golf, hold short, runway 200 left, and report holding short 200 left at Bravo 6.
Hold short, 29 left at Bravo 6 here. So he's landed on 29 right.
Zero Whiskey Golf, are you at Bravo 6?
Zero Whiskey Golf, negative. I'm not sure where I am on the airport.
Op 12 Tower. Zero Whiskey Golf, I think I see you now. Bravo 6 should be coming up straight ahead in about 100 feet.
I'm not sure where I am on the airport. It's low visibility. It's hard to see this turnoff.
Yeah, go ahead. Where's your position right now?
I am on tongue in front of Marty.
Zero Whiskey Golf, hold position. All right, Zero Whiskey Golf, roger. Cross runway 200 left at Bravo 6 and taxi via Bravo to parking. Zero Whiskey Golf, roger. Bravo 11 to signature.
Thank you very much for all your help.
Not a problem. Glad you made it.
Glad you made it.
Option 2, hold short of the critical
Finally.
area. I have traffic on a 4-mile final.
So we finally get Whiskey Golf back on the ground at Fresno. Just as a reminder, to avoid confusion on the ground in low visibility conditions, if you're using ForeFlight and you have the aeronautical layer on, if you zoom in on your airport, you'll have your geo-positioned position on the airport with all the taxiways available to you. So you will show up as a blue dot. And let me move this over so you can see here's the aeronautical layer that you need to have selected in order to get this taxiway information right up on your ForeFlight. A great tool for situational awareness on the ground at these busy airports. So I do hope this pilot comes to terms with just how close this was to a near disaster, loss of control in IMC conditions while hand flying the aircraft. Hats off to the controllers for dealing with this situation and trying to get him to make the right call here. Again, we're not throwing the pilot under the bus. We need to learn from these episodes, hopefully to prevent me having to report on yet another aviation accident. Thank you so much for your support of this channel, especially the folks over on Patreon that make this content possible. See you here.